So, I'm going to just read from the Bible because tonight is really, really weird. Um, but I like this part right here because I have experience. It says, "And as I partook of the fruit thereof, it filled my soul with exceedingly great joy. Wherefore I began to be desirous that my family should partake of it also. For I knew that it was desirable above all other fruit." What I get from this passage is that oftentimes we get so excited, and we want to share. We want to share this fruit. We taste this fruit, or we witness something very different. We found something that can change the world, and we just can't help but to reveal. We can't help but to shout out and speak out about it. And at these times is the hardest to become humble to the situation. And I feel like a lot of people have those problems where they can't be humble to what God is showing them. Especially if it's like, something in the future, something in the near future that's supposed to take place, and you found out. It's it's hard not to talk about it, and basically this is what he's going through. He partook of his fruit, and he wanted nothing more but his family to try it as well. "And as I cast my eyes round about, that perhaps I might discover my family also, I beheld a river of water, and it ran along, and it was near the tree of which I was partaking the fruit. And I looked to behold from whence it came, and I saw the head thereof a little way off. And at the head thereof I beheld your mother Sariah, and Sam, and Nephi, and they stood as if they knew not whither they should go. And it came to pass that I beckoned unto them, and I also did say unto them with a loud voice, that they should come unto me and partake of the fruit which was desirable above all other fruit. And it came to pass that they did come unto me and partake of the fruit also. And it came to pass that I was desirous that Laman and Lemuel should come to partake of the fruit also. Wherefore I cast mine eyes towards the head of the river, that perhaps I might see them. And it came to pass that I saw them, but they would not come unto me and partake of the fruit. And I beheld a rod of iron, and it extended along the bank of the river, and led to the tree by which I stood. And I also beheld a straight and narrow path which came along by the rod of iron, even to the tree by which I stood, and it also led by the head of the fountain unto a large and spacious field, as if it had been a world. And I saw numberless concourses of people, many of whom were pressing forward, that they may obtain the path which led unto the tree by which I stood. And it came to pass that they did come forth and commenced in the path which led to the tree. And it came to pass that there arose a mist of darkness, yea, even an exceedingly great mist of darkness, insomuch that they who had commenced in the path did lose their way, that they wandered off and were lost. So they were on the path, but then a mist of darkness arose. And basically, what I'm getting is that this darkness is of God's doing. Not everyone should partake of this fruit. So therefore, God had to cast the darkness upon, the eyes and of those who were in that area, so that they could lose their way, because this fruit was not supposed to be touched by everyone. And it came to pass that I beheld others pressing forward, They came forth and caught hold of the end of the rod of iron, and they did press forward through the midst of darkness, clinging to the rod of iron, even until they did come forth and partake of the fruit of the tree. So some did make it to the tree, and after they had partaken of the fruit of the tree, they did cast their eyes about as if they were ashamed. So that shameful feeling I mentioned a while back is like you get something, but that sense of shame is a discomfort. It's a feeling of, you shouldn't have touched this, you shouldn't have ate this, you shouldn't have gotten hold of this. And therefore, since you have, now you feel ashamed, you feel a sense of weirdness, awkwardness, or discomfort. And I also cast my eyes round about and beheld on the other side of the river of water a great and spacious building, and it stood as it were in the air, high above the earth. And it was filled with people, both old and young, both male and female, and their manner of dress was exceedingly fine, and they were in the attitude of mocking and pointing fingers towards those who had come at and were partaking of the fruit. And after they had tasted of the fruit, they were ashamed because of those that were scoffing at them, and they fell away into forbidden paths and were lost. And now I, Nephi, do not speak all the words of my father, but to be short in writing, behold, he saw other multitudes pressing forward, and they came and caught hold of the end of the rod of iron. And they did press their way forward, continually holding fast to the rod of iron, and so they came forth and fell down and partook of the fruit of the tree. And he also saw other multitudes filling their way towards the great and spacious building. And it came to pass that many were drowned in the depths of the fountain, and many were lost from his view, wandering in strange roads. These people are not supposed to be partaking of the fruit, and this is why all of this is happening. And great was the multitude that did enter into strange buildings, and after they did enter into the building, they did point the finger of scorn at me, and those who are partaking of the fruit also, but we heeded them not. These are the words of my father, for as many as heeded them had fallen away. And Laman and Lemuel partook not of the fruit, said my father. And it came to pass, after my father had spoken all the words of his dream or vision, which were many, he said unto us, because these things which he saw in a vision, he exceedingly feared for Laman and Lemuel, yet he feared lest they should be cast off from the presence of the Lord. And he did exhort them then with all the feeling of a tender parent, that they would hearken to his words, and perhaps the Lord would be merciful to them and not cast them off. Yet my father did preach unto them, and after he had preached unto them, and also prophesied unto them of many things, he bade them to keep the commandments of the Lord, and he did cease speaking unto them. So that was basically just a lesson, when you feel overly zealous about something, or you just feel like and sometimes it's not even about you wanting to. Sometimes you just feel as though you're obligated, or some type of force is just, you know, um, demanding or commanding you to do something that's kind of out of your will. And this is when I feel like God comes into the picture, or God comes into your life and, stirs up all of those people. If something isn't supposed to happen and it happened because you had no control of the situation, God was taking control of that situation. God will stir up the minds of people. God will stir up the roads of people. God will lead people astray so that they won't partake of that fruit so that they won't discover what is only for you. And if they do, it won't taste as desirable and as good as when you tasted it. But it will make them feel sick, it will make them feel ashamed, and it will make them feel as though they never had it or never taken it in the first place because it wasn't for them. So this is a little lesson. I mean, this is a chapter and lesson of, well, it's nighttime now, but just something to think about whenever you feel as though you are about to do something that you wish you would have never done. God will intervene, and if God will intervene, and you shouldn't feel any way, because eventually you will know as you pray and you just ponder on the thought or the idea of something. God will reveal to you, and God will stir up any threat that may come to you, you know. So yeah, with that being said, that's just a little nightly study that I wanted to share and talk about. Like, comment, subscribe, be notified, and share at your own free will to show you care. Bye. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Be notified and share at your own free will to show you care.